All right, so this is the air trailer filling the SCBA bottles. So this is going to be your Cascade system that you're going to fill with. The way it's going to work is we're going to open the door. We got 2 slots for bottles. We'll take a bottle. These whips will be stored in that position there when we're done for the day. So we're going to come over. Bottle's going to get screwed onto the whip. We're going to go hand tight. We're going to make sure the bleeder valve is closed, and we're going to turn the bottle all the way on. We're going to grab another bottle, do the exact same thing. Hand tight, make sure the bleeder's off, bottle all the way on. Close the door, make sure the door locks. So these are your 2 bottles that we just put in. This is going to show the pressure that's in those bottles. This is here is the regulator. We set it at 4,000 psi. And then up top here is your Cascade system that we're going to fill our bottles with. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to work our way down starting at 1 all the way to 4 to get our bottles full to that 4,000 psi. When we're using this, we don't want to go below 2,000 psi on any of the big Cascade storage. And for that reason, we'll talk about when we get to the filling the Cascade system. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at 1. We're going to open this up. And then we're going to crack our bottle fill slow. We'll hear the pressure start going in, and we can watch the gauge. We want to go about 100 psi a minute. We don't want to hot fill the bottles. And then we'll crank this one up as well and hear that one start filling. So as this builds up, this one's going to drop down to where it can't put any more pressure into the bottles because they're going to be below 4,000. We turn this valve off, turn this valve on, continue till we get to our 4,000, or we can't put any more from this Cascade bottle into our bottles. Turn this one off, go to 3 till we get to 4,000. Okay? When we get done, our bottle is full. We'll close our gauge here, close any bottle that we had open up here, and then we'll get into what it looks like with the de-seeing of the bottle. We went through, filled our bottles to what the pressure in the first bottle is. So now what we're going to do to get to our 4,000 is we're going to close valve 1, and we're going to open valve 2. And now that's going to continue our fill here. And we'll go till this reaches 4,000, and then we'll shut everything down and take bottles out. So when these things get to 4,000, it'll close it out, it'll shut it down. We'll close that bottle off, finish topping this one off a little bit to 4,000. And then we'll close this bottle off, make sure this bottle's closed. Everything's closed so we don't have any pressure going into the bottles that we're going to do. Open this back up, turn both bottles off. We're going to bleed the bypasses. Once it's bled, close the bypasses back off. Take your bottle out. Put your next bottle in if you're going to fill, or if you're done for the day, put your whip back into its holster there. Take our bottles out. And then make sure this is closed and locked. One last time, just make sure everything's closed when we're done for the day. When these get down to this one to 2,000, this one to 2,000, these will be somewhere in the middle. We're going to refill the Cascade system. Okay? When it gets below 2,000, it takes hours for this thing to build pressure back up. So if we keep it at 2,000 or above on all of them, it takes roughly an hour to get the Cascade filled back up. Next video will be how we run the motor and then start up the compressor to fill the Cascade bottles. So this is the Cascade system and the diesel motor. So we have a fuel tank that we'll check and keep full. There's fuel cans, yellow fuel cans in the connexes and the instructor connexes to fill this, to run the motor and then the compressor. So you're going to pull the emergency stop. That's going to turn the system on. Make sure that the ignition's in the off position. And then the screen here is going to tell you things that we need to know. It takes about a minute, minute and a half to run through all of its checks. So as this is running through the checks, this is a diesel motor, so it has glow plugs. So when we get to the screen where we're going to start the generator, it's going to initialize glow plugs, and then we can start. This thing being outside, it's going to be cold, so we got to run the motor by itself for about 5 to 10 minutes to get the motor warmed up, the oil pumping, and then we can start the compressor. All right, so this is the gauge cluster here. So this is our compression or compressor status. This is what we fill the bottles to. This is the discharge pressure filling the bottles. And then if we're running this system off of the Cascade or off of the motor here, the compressor, it'll restart itself at 4,500, okay? And then we got current hours and oil pressure. So I'm gonna flick the switch into the on position. It's gonna tell us that the glow plugs are energized. That screen's gonna go away and it's gonna tell us that we can start the motor. Okay, it says compressor ready to start. So again, it's cold out. That diesel motor is going to take a little bit to warm up. We're going to let this run for 10 or 15 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the weather. And then the last thing we do, once it's warm, we push the on-off button here, and that's what starts the compressor to run to fill the Cascade bottle. The motor's warmed up for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to push this on-off button to get the compressor to go. What I'm going to do though is this will automatically shut down when the Cascade bottles are filled to 6,000 psi. It automatically shuts down, goes back into this low idle here. Once it goes back into the low idle, we can turn it off, and then it's good for to fill more bottles. So to get it on, just push and hold the button here. It gets up, and it runs till it's dark. So that would run till it hits at 6,000 in the Cascade bottles, and then it would shut itself off. When we're done, we just turn it to the off position, and then we hit the emergency stop. And that shuts everything down. That's it.